What if I told you that your success is not limited by your intelligence, your background, or even your English level, but by how clearly you express your thoughts? Every day, millions of people lose opportunities not because they lack ideas, but because they cannot explain those ideas well. They know what they feel. They know what they think. But when it is time to speak, their words disappear. Their voice becomes weak. Their message becomes unclear. This video is not about speaking fast. It is not about using big words. It is about becoming articulate, the ability to express your thoughts clearly, confidently, and powerfully. If you stay until the end, you will not only understand what articulation is, you will feel it growing inside you. This journey will change how you speak and how people listen to you. Chapter 1. What it really means to be articulate. Most people believe that being articulate means speaking fluent English, using complex grammar, or filling sentences with difficult vocabulary. They think that the more advanced the words sound, the more intelligent the speaker must be. But this belief is misleading. True articulation has very little to do with big words and perfect fluency. In reality, being articulate begins much earlier than speech. It begins in the mind. An articulate person thinks clearly before they speak, and because their thinking is clear, their words naturally become simple, focused, and easy to understand. Being articulate means expressing ideas in a way that others can follow without effort. An articulate speaker does not confuse people or overload them with information. Instead, they guide listeners step by step. Their words have direction, and their sentences have purpose. Every sentence moves the listener closer to understanding. Even when they speak slowly, people listen carefully. Even when they use simple language, their message feels strong and meaningful. This is because clarity creates trust, and trust makes people pay attention. You may have already seen such people in your life. They are not always the loudest in the room, and they do not always speak for a long time. Yet, when they begin to talk, the room becomes quiet. People stop scrolling, stop whispering, and start listening. This silence is not created by fear or authority. It is created by clarity. Their words are organized, their ideas are focused, and their message feels valuable. People listen because they understand, and understanding feels good. Articulation is not about showing how much you know. It is about helping others understand what you know. Many people speak to impress, hoping that advanced words will make them look smart. But articulate speakers do the opposite. They speak to connect. They choose words that match their message, not words that show off their vocabulary. They respect the listener's time and attention, so they speak with purpose and care. This ability to respect both your own ideas and your listener's understanding is the heart of articulation. Another important truth is that articulation is not something you are born with. It is not a special gift given to only a few people. It is a skill, and like any skill, it can be learned and improved with practice. Anyone who is willing to think clearly, organize their thoughts, and speak with intention can become articulate. You do not need perfect English. You do not need a special accent. You only need the willingness to express ideas clearly and honestly. When you understand what articulation truly means, speaking becomes less frightening. The pressure to sound perfect disappears. Instead, your focus shifts to clarity and meaning. And when you focus on meaning, your voice becomes stronger, your confidence grows, and your message begins to matter. This is where the journey to becoming articulate truly begins. Chapter 2. Why most people struggle to express themselves. Many people believe that their biggest problem is English itself. Some say they do not know enough words. Others blame grammar, accent, or pronunciation. A few believe they are simply not good at speaking. While these reasons may sound true on the surface, they are not the real problem. The struggle to express oneself comes from something much deeper than language. It begins in the way most people think before they speak. Most people try to speak before they organize their thoughts. Their mind is crowded with ideas, emotions, and unfinished sentences. Different thoughts compete with each other, all trying to come out at the same time. As a result, when words finally leave the mouth, they sound messy and unclear. The speaker knows what they want to say, but the listener cannot see it. This gap between thought and expression creates confusion and disappointment. This confusion leads to a painful kind of frustration. You feel that you are smarter than you sound. Inside your mind, your ideas are rich and meaningful. But when you speak, those ideas fall apart. You may stop in the middle of sentences, repeat words, or lose your point completely. After speaking, you replay the moment in your head and think, "I could have explained that better." Over time, this frustration makes people quieter. They begin to doubt their ability to communicate at all. Another powerful reason people struggle to express themselves is fear of judgment. Many speakers are not afraid of speaking itself. They are afraid of being judged while speaking. They worry about making grammar mistakes, using the wrong word, or sounding foolish. This fear creates tension in the mind, and a tense mind cannot think clearly. When your brain is busy protecting you from embarrassment, it cannot focus on organizing ideas or choosing the right words. Because of this fear, silence often feels safer than expression. Staying quiet seems easier than risking a mistake. Many people choose not to speak, even when they have something valuable to say. Over time, silence becomes a habit. And the longer someone stays silent, the harder speaking feels. This is how strong ideas remain hidden, and powerful voices go unheard. But here is the truth that changes everything. Clarity is far more important than perfection. People do not remember small grammar mistakes or imperfect sentences. They remember ideas that are clear, honest, and meaningful. A simple sentence spoken with clarity has more power than a perfect sentence spoken with fear. Listeners care about understanding, not perfection. When you shift your focus from avoiding mistakes to sharing ideas, expression becomes easier. Your mind relaxes, your thoughts slow down, and when your mind is calm, your words begin to flow naturally. Understanding this is the first step toward breaking the struggle. Once you learn to value clarity over perfection, your voice slowly finds its strength again. Chapter 3. Think clearly before you speak clearly. Articulate speech does not begin with words. It begins in silence. Before a clear sentence is spoken, a clear thought must be formed. Many people rush into speaking without giving their mind enough time to organize ideas. As a result, their speech feels rushed, incomplete, or confusing. But articulate speakers understand the power of pause. They know that a few seconds of silence can save many minutes of confusion. Before you speak, pause and ask yourself one simple but powerful question. What is my main point? This question brings order to your thoughts. If you cannot answer it clearly, it is better to wait. Speaking without knowing your main point is like starting a journey without knowing the destination. You may move, but you will not arrive anywhere meaningful. An articulate speaker always focuses on one clear message at a time. They do not try to explain everything they know in one moment. They understand that too many ideas at once can overwhelm the listener. Instead of saying many things poorly, they choose to say one thing well. This focus makes their speech easier to follow and more powerful to hear. One clear idea is always stronger than many unclear ones. Training your mind to organize thoughts is a skill, and like any skill, it improves with practice. You do not need complicated techniques. You only need a simple thinking structure. First, ask yourself, what is my idea? This helps you identify the core message. Second, ask, why does it matter? This gives your idea importance and purpose. Third, ask, what example can explain it? Examples make ideas real and easier to understand. When you think in these simple steps, your thoughts become organized naturally. You no longer search for words while speaking because your mind already knows the direction. Words begin to follow your thoughts instead of chasing them. This creates a sense of calm and confidence in your speech. You feel less pressure because you are not inventing ideas while talking. You are simply expressing what you already understand. Clarity in speech is always a reflection of clarity in thinking. If your thoughts are confused, your words will be confused. But when your thinking is clear, your speech becomes smooth and natural. This is why articulate speakers often sound relaxed. They are not struggling to speak. They are sharing a clear idea. By learning to think clearly before you speak, you reduce fear, improve confidence, and increase impact. Silence becomes your preparation, not your weakness. And in that quiet moment before speaking, you give yourself the greatest advantage of all: clarity. Chapter 4. Simple words create strong impact. Many English learners believe that advanced English means using advanced vocabulary. They think that long words, complex sentences, and difficult expressions make them sound intelligent and confident. Because of this belief, they try to remember rare words and use them whenever they speak. But this approach often creates the opposite result. Instead of sounding clear and confident, their speech becomes heavy, confusing, and hard to follow. The truth is that the most powerful speakers in the world use simple words. Leaders, teachers, and great communicators choose language that everyone can understand. Simple words reach more people because they remove barriers. When listeners do not need to think hard to understand vocabulary, they can focus on the message itself. This is why simple language feels strong. It respects the listener's time and attention. Simple sentences also stay longer in memory. People may forget complicated explanations, but they remember clear and direct messages. A short, simple sentence can stay in the mind for years. This is not weakness. This is power. Simple language sounds confident because it shows that the speaker understands the idea deeply. When you truly understand something, you can explain it in a simple way. An articulate speaker always chooses clarity over complexity. They do not try to impress others with difficult words. They are not trying to prove intelligence. They are trying to create understanding. Their goal is connection, not admiration. Because of this, their speech feels natural and trustworthy. Listeners feel comfortable, not confused. When you explain something, imagine that you are talking to a friend, not an examiner. A friend wants to understand you. not test you. When you speak to a friend, you naturally use simple language, clear examples, and a relaxed tone. This is the same mindset you should bring into every conversation. Speaking becomes easier when you stop trying to perform and start trying to communicate. The goal of speaking is not to sound smart. The goal is to be understood. Many people sound intelligent, but leave listeners confused. An articulate speaker may sound simple, but their message stays clear, and clarity always creates impact. When people understand you, they trust you. When they trust you, they listen. By choosing simple words, you give your ideas space to shine. You remove fear, reduce pressure, and speak with confidence. Over time, simplicity becomes your strength. And through simple language, your voice becomes powerful, meaningful, and truly articulate. Chapter 5. The Power of Structure in Speech. Have you ever noticed that good speakers never sound lost, even when they are speaking without notes? They may pause, think, and speak naturally, but their message always feels clear. This is not luck or talent. It is structure. Structure is the invisible support behind clear speech. When a speaker has structure, listeners feel safe following their words. When there is no structure, even intelligent ideas feel confusing and tiring to hear. Structure does not mean sounding formal or robotic. Even in casual conversation, articulate people follow a natural flow. They begin with an idea, then explain it, and finally end with meaning. This flow feels natural because it matches how the human brain understands information. First, we want to know what you are talking about. Then, we want to understand it. Finally, we want to know why it matters. When speech follows this order, listening becomes easy. This natural structure acts like a roadmap for the listener. Imagine listening to someone who jumps from point to point without direction. Even if the ideas are good, you quickly feel lost. Your mind gets tired trying to follow. But when someone speaks with structure, you relax. You know where the conversation is going. You feel guided instead of confused. This feeling of guidance is what makes people trust a speaker. Without structure, even strong ideas lose their power. A valuable message can sound weak if it is not organized. Many people fail to express themselves not because they lack ideas, but because they present those ideas in a scattered way. Structure brings order to thinking, and order creates clarity. When your speech has structure, your ideas sound stronger than they actually are. The good news is that you do not need formal rules or complicated techniques to build structure. You only need to remember one simple pattern. Point, explanation, example. First, clearly state your point. Second, explain what it means or why it is important. Third, give a simple example to make it real. This pattern works in presentations, conversations, interviews, and even daily discussions. When you use this pattern, people feel comfortable listening to you. They do not have to guess your meaning or struggle to follow your thoughts. Comfort is powerful. When listeners feel comfortable, they listen longer. They pay more attention. They remember what you say. And most importantly, they respect your voice. Structure also helps the speaker. When you know the structure, you feel less nervous. You are not searching for words or ideas while speaking. You know what comes next. This reduces fear and increases confidence. Over time, structured speaking becomes natural, and your mind learns to organize thoughts automatically. The power of structure is not in sounding impressive. It is in making understanding easy. When you speak with structure, you lead the listener instead of losing them. And when you can lead people with your words, your speech becomes calm, confident, and truly articulate. Chapter 6. Confidence is built, not born. Many people believe that confident speakers are born with a special gift. They think confidence comes first and clear speaking comes later. But the truth is the opposite. Confidence does not come first. Clarity comes first. When you clearly know what you want to say, fear naturally becomes smaller. Confusion creates fear, but clarity creates calm. This is why confident speakers often sound relaxed. They are not relaxed because they are fearless. They are relaxed because they are clear. When you trust your message, your voice becomes steady. You stop worrying about how you sound and focus on what you are saying. This shift changes everything. Fear loses its power when your attention moves away from yourself and toward your idea. Confidence grows when you believe that your message is worth sharing, even if it is not perfect. Do not wait to feel confident before speaking. That moment rarely comes. Confidence is not a requirement for speaking. It is the result of speaking. You speak to build confidence, not the other way around. Every time you avoid speaking, fear grows stronger. But every time you speak with intention, confidence takes a small step forward. Start small. You do not need long speeches or perfect sentences. Begin with short, clear thoughts. Speak slowly so your mind can keep up with your words. Rushing creates mistakes and increases anxiety. Slowing down gives you control. It allows your thoughts to settle and your words to land with meaning. Finish your sentences. This may sound simple, but it is powerful. Many people stop in the middle of sentences because of fear or doubt. When you finish your sentences, you train your mind to complete thoughts. This builds strength and presence in your speech. Each finished sentence is a statement of self-trust. Every clear sentence you speak is a victory. Even if the sentence is short, even if it is simple, it matters. Victories do not need to be big to be real. Small wins, repeated daily, build lasting confidence. Over time, these victories change how you see yourself. You stop thinking of yourself as someone who cannot speak well and start seeing yourself as someone who can express ideas clearly. Remember this important truth. Confident speakers are not fearless. They are prepared. They think before they speak. They organize their ideas. They practice expressing thoughts. Preparation removes uncertainty, and uncertainty is the main source of fear. When you prepare your thoughts, you prepare your confidence. Confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you build, sentence by sentence, thought by thought. And as your clarity grows, your confidence will follow naturally. Chapter 7. Practice, the Art of Thinking. Out loud, one of the most powerful habits of articulate people is simple, yet often overlooked. They practice expressing their thoughts, even when no one is listening. Many people believe that speaking well only matters in front of an audience. They wait for the perfect moment to practice. But the truth is that articulation begins in private. When you take the time to speak your thoughts out loud, your mind and voice begin to work together naturally. This practice allows you to explore ideas, test language, and strengthen your clarity without pressure. Articulate people often explain ideas out loud to themselves. They describe what they are learning, summarize a book, or reflect on an experience. By speaking out loud, They force their brain to organize thoughts in real time. This is different from thinking silently. Silent thought can jump around, get lost, or stay vague. Speaking out loud demands structure. You begin to recognize which words fit, which sentences make sense, and which examples truly clarify your point. Over time, this habit trains your mind to think clearly before it speaks, making your communication sharper and more precise. You do not need an audience for this exercise. Your voice itself becomes your training partner. Stand in front of a mirror, record yourself, or simply speak while walking. The act of forming sentences and hearing your own words is enough to build articulation skills. You learn not only how to express ideas, but also how your words sound, how they flow, and how they can be improved. Each time you practice, your brain rewires itself to arrange ideas faster and more logically, turning thinking and speaking into a smoother, more natural process. When you make speaking your thoughts a daily habit, clarity begins to feel automatic. You no longer struggle to find words under pressure because your brain has already practiced organizing them in quiet moments. This is why articulate people often appear effortless in speech. Their clarity did not happen by chance. It developed gradually through consistent, private practice. Speaking out loud regularly gives your mind a rehearsal space for real conversations, presentations, and discussions. It is important to remember that articulation grows through daily expression, not occasional perfection. Many learners wait for a chance to speak perfectly, but perfection is rare. Waiting for it leads to silence and missed opportunities. Instead, focus on expressing your ideas regularly. Even imperfect sentences contribute to growth. Every attempt strengthens your thinking, improves your word choice, and builds your confidence. Repetition is the key. Small daily practice sessions are far more effective than infrequent long sessions. Ultimately, thinking out loud is about creating a habit of clarity. It bridges the gap between your mind and your mouth. The more you practice, the faster your brain learns to organize ideas, and the easier it becomes to speak naturally. Soon, speaking clearly will not feel like a skill you are forcing. It will feel like an effortless part of how you think. Daily practice of thinking out loud is the secret habit that transforms ordinary speakers into articulate communicators. Chapter 8. How articulate people handle mistakes. Many people believe that mistakes are the end of effective communication. They fear mispronouncing a word, choosing the wrong phrase, or making grammar errors. This fear can paralyze even the most intelligent speakers. But the truth is that mistakes do not destroy articulation. Fear of mistakes does. What separates articulate speakers from others is not perfection. It is their ability to continue speaking despite errors. They understand that mistakes are a natural part of human expression, not a barrier to clarity. Articulate people make errors, just like everyone else. They may pause, stumble over a word, or momentarily forget what they were going to say. But the difference lies in how they respond. Instead of stopping or retreating, they pause briefly, collect their thoughts, and continue. Sometimes they rephrase the idea in simpler words, clarify the point, or provide an example. These small adjustments do not weaken their message. They strengthen it. By addressing the mistake calmly and moving forward, they maintain the flow of communication, keeping the listener engaged. Understanding that communication is not about perfection is essential. Many learners stop speaking because they believe that one mistake ruins their credibility. This is a misunderstanding. Listeners are not looking for perfect grammar or flawless pronunciation. They are looking for meaning. They want to understand the idea being shared. When a speaker continues despite mistakes, they demonstrate confidence, authenticity, and resilience. These qualities are far more persuasive than perfect sentences ever could be. Stopping every time a mistake occurs kills the message. Imagine explaining an important idea and pausing every time a small error appears. The rhythm of your speech breaks. Listeners lose focus. Your idea, no matter how important, fails to reach them effectively. On the other hand, if you continue despite errors, your message flows. Your confidence grows with each sentence. You show both yourself and others that ideas matter more than mistakes. This mindset transforms mistakes from obstacles into opportunities for growth. Your voice becomes stronger when you allow it to be human. Perfection is an illusion, but authenticity is real. Articulate speakers embrace their humanity and the natural imperfections that come with it. When you accept that errors are part of learning and expression, fear diminishes. You begin to speak with freedom, clarity, and confidence. Your words gain energy because they are no longer restricted by self-doubt or worry. In the end, handling mistakes is about mindset. Mistakes are not enemies, they are teachers. They highlight areas to improve, challenge your courage, and help refine your articulation. Each time you make a mistake and continue speaking, you grow stronger. You build resilience, improve clarity, and increase confidence. Learning to move forward gracefully after mistakes is a hallmark of articulate communication. It is not about avoiding errors. It is about responding to them with calm, composure, and determination. This approach turns ordinary speakers into articulate leaders whose ideas are heard, understood, and remembered. Chapter 9. Becoming articulate is a life transformation. When you become articulate, everything in your life begins to shift. Speaking clearly is not just about using the right words. It is about creating impact, connecting with others, and feeling confident in your own voice. Suddenly, people listen to you more attentively. Your ideas no longer get lost in conversation, and your opinions carry weight. You begin to notice that interactions, both personal and professional, become smoother. Misunderstandings decrease, and your ability to influence others grows. Articulation changes the way the world responds to you because it changes the way you express yourself. You start explaining yourself better. Simple ideas become clear, and complex thoughts become understandable. Articulation allows you to structure your speech, choose words carefully, and convey meaning effectively. This clarity is noticed in interviews, meetings, presentations, and casual conversations. People start valuing what you say because they understand it. You no longer feel invisible in discussions. Instead, your voice becomes a tool that communicates not only words, but also confidence, intelligence, and reliability. You also feel respected because you respect your own voice. Speaking clearly is a form of self-respect. When you organize your thoughts and present them with care, you honor your own ideas. You begin to trust that your perspective has value and that your words deserve attention. This respect for yourself radiates outward, influencing how others treat you. People respond to confidence and clarity, and when they see that you value your own ideas, they are more likely to value them too. Articulation improves many areas of life. It helps in interviews by allowing you to express your qualifications confidently. It strengthens conversations because your ideas are heard and understood. It enhances teaching and mentoring because your explanations are clear and memorable. It builds leadership presence because you can guide, inspire, and influence others effectively. And it boosts self-confidence because you no longer fear expressing your thoughts. Articulation is not just a speaking skill, it is a life skill that transforms relationships, career, and self-perception. Remember this: you do not need perfect English to be articulate. Perfection is a myth, and striving for it often causes hesitation and fear. What matters is clear thinking, simple words, and the courage to express yourself. Even short sentences, spoken with clarity and confidence, have immense power. When you focus on expressing ideas rather than impressing others, your speech becomes meaningful and impactful. Your voice matters. Your ideas matter. And the world needs to hear them clearly. Every person has something unique to share, but ideas remain hidden if they are not communicated well. Becoming articulate gives you the ability to bring those ideas to life, to inspire, to persuade, and to influence. It is a skill that opens doors, builds connections, and transforms your life from the inside out. When you speak with clarity, confidence, and purpose, you do more than communicate. You make a lasting impression. Becoming articulate is not just about learning to speak better. It is about changing how you think, express, and engage with the world. It is about taking your voice seriously, valuing your ideas, and giving them the space to be heard. This transformation affects every part of life: career, relationships, learning, and personal growth. Articulation is the bridge between your thoughts and the world. When you cross it with clarity and confidence, life itself transforms. Final message: do not stay silent because you fear making mistakes. Many people let fear control their voice, thinking that every word must be perfect. But staying quiet does not protect you. It hides your ideas and limits your potential. Do not hide your thoughts simply because your English is not perfect. Remember, clarity is far more powerful than perfection. A simple, clear message can inspire, influence, and connect more than a long, complicated sentence ever could. Start today. Begin small. Speak clearly, even if your words are simple. Think deeply about what you want to say before you say it. Practice expressing your thoughts out loud, and gradually, your confidence will grow. On my channel, English Achieves Students Hub, we focus on building real communication skills that go beyond grammar and vocabulary. Here, clarity, expression, and understanding are more important than memorizing rules. Step by step, day by day, your voice will grow stronger. Each sentence you speak with intention is a victory. Each idea you share is a step closer to becoming articulate. Speak with courage, think with clarity, and allow your ideas to shine. Over time, you will realize that being articulate is not just a skill. It is a transformation that empowers your life and opens new doors in every area.